very emotional interview. At times he looked pretty close to tears when he was mentioned saying things about his father, and I feel for him a little bit actually. I hear what everyone says, we jumping on the bandwagon and attacking him. I think that the reality here is he is a target. He was born into this family. He is somebody who, it's not his fault. He was born as the second son of the now king. He served on the front line, making him a legitimate target, and now he can't bring his family back to the country and to be part of his family. I understand that he's done things wrong, and I think he has made huge mistakes. But that was a very emotional interview. He looked thinner. He didn't look particularly happy. I don't know. I think also when considering these judgments, and I perfectly understand that taxpayers shouldn't be paying all this money and all that. But if something did happen to Harry, if he came back to this country or anywhere else, I'm sure there'd be a huge outcry about not why wasn't he protected. And so I have reservations about the judgment, even though I agree with it. I agree with the fact that the premise of it. I agree with the fact that he left his country. I agree with the fact that he no longer is a working royal. But he is a very, very high profile person through no fault of his own. And I think that brings with it, well, obviously the emotion you've seen there, but also dangers. And I just wonder with this type of story that goes on, and I've covered this story for 35 years, the death of the Princess of Wales, etc. Security is a very, very important thing. It's something that his father warned him about before he took this decision. He actually said, think very carefully about this. And he obviously, I don't think, did think carefully about it. I think he felt he was entitled to that security.
Prince Harry is a target, is a high risk target. Some carnival of so-called experts like Robert Jobson toe the party line, toe the line of the establishment, that they agree with the courts going against Prince Harry on security. But out of the other side of their mouths, echo that indeed Prince Harry should have security because he's someone who is influential. He's someone who faces threats at the hands of far-right extremists who have been jailed for the threats that they have made towards Prince Harry. And because of the public outcry, if anything happened to Prince Harry, God forbid, they say indeed Harry deserves security. And if there's one thing I must call out, it is the hypocrisy of the carnival of so-called experts. They know fully well that Prince Harry is someone who never chose to be born a member of Britain's royal family. Prince Harry inherited the risks that come with being a member of Britain's royal family. Not just that, with being the king's son. They know that very, very well. They know that very, very well. Despite that, still, they can go on TV and say, oh, you know what? Actually, Prince Harry stepped back as a senior member of the royal family, so therefore he doesn't deserve security. My family, as we even heard from a former royal protection officer, Richard H., he said himself that just because Prince Harry stepped back as a senior member of the royal family, it doesn't mean that the threats he faces just go away. That ain't how it works. If that is how it works, then even former prime ministers who have served their country in the UK would not have security after, their term ends, or when they resign, or when they quit. They still will not receive lifetime protection. But they receive lifetime protection because of the fact that even if they have left office, still they face threats by virtue of their very, very public profile, by virtue of their very, very public roles, even if, their term has ended, my family. And most of the carnival of so-called experts are fully, fully aware of this. But most of them want to ignore it and toe the party line, the line of the establishment, meaning Charles and William, who don't want Prince Harry to be protected, to be safe, and more so don't want Harry's family, that's Meghan, Archie, Lilibet, to be safe and to feel safe. It's disgusting what they've done to Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily. My family, would you be happy if you know that your mother was hounded to her death, and they knew as a son who suffered all of your life because of losing your mother, who was hounded to her death, who you are told that one of the reasons as to why Diana died is because she rejected royal protection officers. That's what Harry and all of us were told was one of the reasons as to why she died. Would you, as a son who lost your mother, and you are told that that is one of the factors that led to her death, and now because you don't want history to repeat itself, because you love your wife and you love your kids, and of course you want to be there as a father and husband to protect your family, you say, listen, I want security to ensure that history does not repeat itself. And then you hear from your father and brother, oh, you know what, Harry, we won't give you security. Oh, you know what, when you leave, Harry, you won't get security. You ask, does me leaving, stop all the threats I face? The answer is no. But despite that, the firm doesn't care, because they want to send a message to you. You know what? You can't leave. And you won't leave. And even after you leave, they're like, fine, you're on your own. We won't protect you. More than that, even, we'll ensure that no other government can protect you. All because they want to scare you to come back under their control. It's disgusting what has been done to Prince Harry. So, of course, there's no way he'll be happy. So, of course, there's no way he can be pleased with this decision by the court. No way. Because he knows fully well that indeed Ravek did not follow its own procedures. And what Harry also has asked for, that many people don't want to say, Prince Harry has asked for fairness. For fairness. That the same risk assessment done on any other high-profile figure is done on him, on Meghan, on Archie, on Lilibet. Something which Charles and William don't want to be done on Prince Harry. Why? Why is that? Because they want Prince Harry to feel unsafe, to be unsafe, to feel unsafe. And my family have called that psychological torture. That's what the firm, William and Charles, with Wikimedia, are doing to Prince Harry. That's what the establishment are putting Harry through. They don't want him to be at peace. They want Harry to regret even daring to leave that toxic bubble in the royal family, in the royal fold, of course. And my family, they're doing it by of course making him unsafe. But they're doing it by risking his life. And what they have done to Prince Harry and Meghan and Archie and now also Lily Bedana is completely and utterly unforgivable. You know, my family, even village queen herself, said that she wanted for Prince Harry to have security. Charles and William, however, had other plans. You know, and I've also seen how some carnival or so-called experts talk about how they want to respect and honor the memory of the queen, and yet they don't want to hear her wishes, her desires that she wanted for Prince Harry to have security. When it's that, UK media say, "Oh, you know what? Let's not follow that desire by the queen. Let's not follow her wish before she passed away that her grandson and her grandson's family get security. Oh, you know what? Let's not honor that wish." You know, they pick and choose what they want to, of course, honor of the late Queen's memory. And my family also, as I've said, basically, we have seen that most of these carnival or so-called experts never ever genuinely cared about the late Queen. If they did, there is no way that the mourning period after the Queen passed away, no way would we have seen them, of course, continue the bullying of Harry and Meghan, which is so happening, which is what they did. Even after the Queen passed away, in fact, even the attacks and the bullying and the abuse towards Harry and Meghan even worsened. There is no way you would have seen that if they loved their Queen. You know? But we all know they did not. We all know they did not. You know? In my family, you have Robert Jobson admitting that indeed the public will be angry if anything were to happen to Prince Harry. If you know that, then why keep security away from him? Why? You know? My family, let me even read you some comments from some members of the squad in response to the words of Robert, my family, Jobson. For example, someone said, and I quote, "Great comments, and security was used coercively because, as you mentioned, it was revoked prematurely. While Prince Harry and Meghan, of course, were told, you know what, take a year off. After a year, decide what you want." Before that year even ended, Harry, Meghan, and Archie were stripped of their security. You know? All because the firm were involved in a cover-up to protect an unstable William who was so full of envy towards Harry and Meghan, who was about to be exposed for being the person who was authorizing his staff members to leak and brief negative lies about Harry and Meghan to the press. And of course, that's one of the reasons why security was stripped from Harry and Meghan to, of course, ensure that Prince Harry did not mention the name of William's AD. I think his name was Christian Jones, who was the one who was supposed to have been feeding stories to Carnival of so-called expert Dan Wooten, whose partner, Callum Stevens, was paid money by the Sun tabloid when Dan was working there to brief and leak against Meghan. You know? And William obviously was involved. He was involved. And the pilots didn't want his name mentioned there. And so, of course, they, first of all, issued a threat to Prince Harry to just drop his case or drop the name of the employee working for Prince William. When they refused, they said, you know what, there'll be consequences. And my family, one of those consequences was stripping Prince Harry, Meghan, and Archie off of the security. It's despicable what they did to Prince Harry and Meghan. Utterly despicable. You know, and honestly also unforgivable. You know, Harry was entitled to have security. He is, sorry, not was, he is entitled to have security. If a prime minister gets security after they leave their post, then Prince Harry should always be entitled to have security for life. For life. For life, for life, for life. You know? It's disgusting the child took it away. You know? My family. Someone said that I'm surprised by the change of tone of Robert Jobson. Is he worried that if something happens to Prince Harry, his name, amongst others, will not go down well with the public? My family, I'll say this about Robert Jobson. He's someone who is indeed Charles' cheerleader, and he's someone who he says he's more like he has this what is it called? Double speak. On one side, he agrees that indeed Prince Harry needs security. And then on the other side is like, oh, you know what? But Harry left, and taxpayers do not pay for his security. My family, taxpayers pay close to £1 billion a year to fund Britain's royal family. You know? Close to £1 billion. Charles is getting a £45 million pay raise for what? What has he done to deserve that? You know? But someone has an issue with $1 million or $2 million being paid to protect Harry and Meghan, to protect the king's son. You know? My family, Harry deserves security. Harry deserves security. And he should be given security. He should be protected. He should be protected. You know? He should be protected. And that is honestly non-negotiable. He's the king's son. He never chose to be the king's son. He deserves security. Only in the UK is the son of a head of state told, hey, you know what? You don't need security. The son of a head of state. Only in the UK. That's unfair and wrong. You know? And my family, I feel like there are also some carnival of so-called experts who are trying to say, to try and absolve themselves of any kind of guilt. If God forbid anything happened to Prince Harry, by saying, oh, you know what, I did say he deserved to get security. You know? My family, there should never be a debate about whether or not the king's son should have security. He should have it. But sadly, Charles has made it very, very difficult, whereby Prince Harry even has to go to court to fight for security. Yet the easiest way is for Charles to simply make a phone call and Harry will have security, even in America. But Charles doesn't want that. And honestly, shame on him for the pain he's put Harry and Meghan through. Shame on him for endangering the lives of his own son and grandkids and his own daughter-in-law Meghan. Shame on him. You know? So my family, Harry should have security, and I hope, of course, he gets it. I hope he gets it. I hope he gets, security. I hope he gets security. You know? And also, one thing that I also can say is that there are carnival of so-called experts who want that Prince Harry has made mistakes. What mistakes? What mistakes? What mistakes? Harry has done nothing wrong. Harry has done nothing wrong. You know, whenever they say that, most of them can't even say what Harry has done wrong. Is it the Oprah interview? You know, don't forget, the Oprah interview was done as a result of UK media constant attacks towards Harry, Meghan, and their son Archie. Harry, in spare, says he tried to make it all stop by doing the interview. You know? And even then, Harry was correcting lies told about him and Meghan by the UK media. So my family, there'd be no Oprah interview if only Harry and Meghan were treated well. You know? There'd be no spare if only, of course, Prince Harry in his life was treated well. So my family, even now as we speak, we have seen attempts by the farm and, of course, UK media to try and, of course, rewrite history as to how they treated Harry and Meghan. Listen, if you want someone to say good things about you, then here's what you do: treat them well. Therefore, even when Harry has an interview, he'll speak about the good things that Charles has done and William has done. But he can't, because all of what William and Charles have done is, of course, endanger his life, put him, Meghan, Archie, Lily in danger. So, what good things does Prince Harry have to say about Charles and William? It's non-existent, my family. If you want something to write or say good things about you, treat them well. If you treat them appallingly, of course they'll have negative things to say about you. You know? So my family, Harry deserves security. This should not be a debate. He deserves it. And so does his family. That's Meghan, Archie, and also Lilibet, Diana. So my family, I hope that when Carnival or so-called expert Robert Jobson meets up with Charles next time, he tells Charles, give Harry security. Reinstate Prince Harry's protection immediately. You know? Right now, I want to hear your opinion on what we have discussed. May God bless you all. And stay tuned to our next video. Love you awesome forever. And may no weapon from against Harry, Meghan, Archie, and also Lilibet, Diana, my family ever prosper. I want to say thank you for watching our video, and please kindly like, subscribe, and support our ever-growing family on YouTube. I always say that the battle between good and evil will continue until the end of time, and we are on the side of God. We condemn the ongoing hate campaign being waged against Meghan, Prince Harry, Archie, and Lilibet, Diana, and we ask William, Charles, Kate, Camilla to please end this. Please end this. The time has come. You must stop your smear campaign and apologize to Prince Harry and Meghan. Apologize to Harry, Meghan, to Archie, and Lilibet for all the pain you've caused them. And once again, it's been so many years of you following this channel. I want to say thank you. To our new subscribers, please welcome and join in, and welcome to the family. We love you very much, and thank you for all your support. It means the world to us, and may God bless you immensely, immensely, immensely. Stay tuned to our next video. Love you, always and forever, and may God bless you all.